Hey guys, it's Paul from theawesomer here, and we are checking out something very special. It's the 2025 Infiniti QX80 Autograph. The QX80 is an entirely new look this year, and notable is this beautiful new grille that they've got here. I love this design, this like crisscross here, and these headlights that are segmented individual LEDs all the way across. It's a great new look. The entire vehicle just looks much more refined. Just check out these, as we go around, you'll see that these flush mount door handles, oh, they pop out just like that when you get near the vehicle. And there's the fancy autograph badging as well. This three-row vehicle is quite large, but it just looks so smooth and elegant with this new design language that Infiniti's got. Everything just flows. It's like some sort of liquid metal almost. I love the overall look. Down at the bottom here, you'll see we're riding on these ginormous 22-inch alloy wheels, and it's a great looking vehicle overall. Echoing the design of the headlights that we saw on the front is this segmented tail lamp that runs all the way across, horizontally across the Infiniti. It's a great look. I really think they did a beautiful job with it. Infiniti did not skimp on the materials inside of the QX80 Autograph. The seats are really, really lush, semi-aniline leather. You've got the same material on the dashboard. Everything is quilted and padded. There's no cheap materials here except for the little bit of piano black plastic that appears in the center console. Not my favorite, a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but otherwise you've got this open pore black wood with little strips of aluminum in it. Really cool sort of modern pattern, really flowing look overall to the vehicle. Under the hood here, you will see a brand new engine for the QX80. Gone is the old V8, and we now have a twin turbo 3.5 liter V6. This engine puts out 450 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. It's got plenty of grunt, but it's still super quiet when you're actually driving because of the insulation inside of the vehicle. It sends power to all four wheels via a 9-speed automatic transmission. There are paddle shifters if you want to use them, but I don't see why you need to in this. And the overall power is quite ample, and you get much better fuel economy than you did with the old V8. So the overall driving is quite comfortable, smooth. The cabin is just sublime in terms of how quiet it is. It's really, really nice in here. The suspension does a great job absorbing shocks. It's a smooth vehicle. It's a lot easier to drive fast in this than you think it's going to be because it's just so insulated from the outdoor, from the noise, from the road. Unlike some modern luxury vehicles that try and overwhelm you with screens, I think Infiniti does a nice job being a little more tasteful with that. You've got this dual screen cluster here that runs across the top of the dashboard. It's not too distracting. It is now running a brand new interface that you don't get on other Nissan and Infiniti vehicles. It's running a Google-based operating system, so you have access to the Play Store, Google Assistant. In addition, you can download apps, and then it's got a really nice integration with Google Maps built in, and you can put the Weather Channel app on, Spotify, whatever you want to do. But what's really nice is that it still has wireless support for Android Auto and CarPlay. So if you want to use your phone, you still have access to that via the CarPlay interface. The QX80 Autograph also has a 24-speaker Klipsch reference audio system. It sounds tremendous. It's got great sound, big volume, crisp, clean, natural, and you've got speakers just about everywhere in the vehicle, but these ones on the headrest are interesting. First off, they look different than I've ever seen, but secondly, the one on the driver's side can be used to pump different audio in, so while you're driving and you're listening to GPS directions, only the driver will hear them. If you need to take a phone call, only the driver will hear the phone call. It's a really neat feature. The first time I heard it, I was like, wow, that's really cool. More vehicles should do this. The front seats offer a plethora of power adjustments, so you can really dial in and tweak the seats to exactly your comfort. Everything's adjustable, the side bolsters, the lumbar support, the height of the seat, so you can really just make things exactly as you like them. And then you have this last setting here, which is massage. So both of the front seats offer a massage setting, and you can choose between 3 different levels. There's a lumbar support, there's relaxing, and refreshing. I have a little trouble telling the difference between them. They all seem to be just sort of gentle lower back massages, but it is quite nice, and you can adjust the intensity and speed of the massage as well. These second row seats are just as nice as the front row. They have that beautiful quilted semi-aniline leather, and then on the doors you'll also find that same aluminum embedded in wood. You've got the Klipsch audio system with the same aluminum grills, and then in the back you also get your own independent climate control for the section. Back here in the second row you'll find a really nice size center console bin between the captain's chairs. In the front here you've got a couple of cup holders. In the back you've got an armrest that's padded, and inside you've got a storage bin with a couple of USB-C charging ports. And then here in the middle, you have a touch screen, which provides access to make seat adjustments and the all-important seat massage function. So both of the captain's chairs have heated, cooled, and massage functions. So you can sit in the back and enjoy a relaxing massage just like you can in the front. The only seats in this car that don't have massage are the third row. One thing that I think Infiniti did a really good job with is making the third row of seats so easy to get in and out of. There's not a lot of vehicles where you can say that, but here you just come over to the captain's chair, you press this electronic button here, the seat automatically tilts and slides forward, and then you can get in between the seat pillar and the back of the seat. It's a lot easier to get back here than many vehicles that I've been in, and it's surprisingly roomy for a third row. So I'm back in the third row now, and if I pull the seat back, press this little button on the top here, you'll see that even though I'm 6 feet tall, I've still got a couple inches of room between my knees and the seat back, which is really good. You got a few nice amenities back in the third row, not the least of which is a nice size window. You're not like cramped in the dark back here, but you also get, a pair of cup holders on each side, a USB-C charger, your own heat for the seats back here, and it's just much more spacious than you usually find in a three-row vehicle. Overhead, you've got this really nice panoramic sunroof. It brings lots of light into the cabin. It doesn't extend all the way to the third row, but it's still bright and cheery in here. There's good headroom all the way in the back. You lose a little bit of headroom in the second row because of where the ceiling dips down like this. Meanwhile, while I'm pointing up here, I should also point out this beautiful micro suede fabric that is on the ceiling, and it's on the pillars around the vehicle, and you just want to touch it all day. It feels so nice. Let's take a look and see how much space we've got here in the back. We've got a power lift gate. We open it up, and inside you'll find a reasonable amount of space behind the third row of seats. It's good enough for groceries, maybe a couple backpacks, that sort of thing. But where it gets really interesting is when you drop these seats. So all 4 seats are power down and up. So we just come over here and we can hit them in sequence, all 4 seats, and you'll see that they are going to electrically drop. And we've got more than 80 cubic feet of space once we do that. So you'll have enough room to transport just about anything you'd want back here. Raising the seats is just as simple. We press our little buttons again, and all 4 of them will come back up in a few seconds. You can also raise or lower the vehicle with the electronic air suspension by pressing one of these buttons here. On the other side, you get 120 volt power outlet. So if you need to plug something in while you're tailgating, you've got AC power in the back, a couple tie down straps, nothing else too exciting back here. There's a nice amount of storage in the front of the QX80. You've got this storage area underneath the bridge that is the floating center console. Down here, you'll notice there's a 12 volt charging port. So if you want to plug in your radar detector or some other device, you can. And then in the center console itself, you've got a pair of cup holders. Here is a wireless charging tray along with a pair of USB-C ports. And then back here, you'll find a nice size bin for storage, but it's also, if I flip the switch here, it's a cool box. So you can put your ice cream, your candy bars, your soda in there to keep them nice and cool on a hot summer day. and they won't melt and get all gross. While there are a handful of tactile controls, one thing that I'm not that crazy about is that the climate controls for the front are all done through a touchscreen. So you no longer have individual knobs or buttons for adjusting temperature. It's all through the touchscreen. So that takes a little bit of getting used to, and you can't just do it by touch. Um, One really innovative feature that's a little hard to actually test is there is a biometric cooling system in here, or I'm sorry, biometric climate control system. And that system is apparently reading the temperature of the passengers in the vehicle and dynamically adjusting the climate control to make sure that you feel the temperature that is displayed on the screen. It's a neat feature. It's a little bit of a gimmick because you really can't tell that it's happening, but I guess that's the point. Um, One other thing you can control here from the touchscreen is the drive modes. You have adjustable drive modes, so you can switch between standard, eco, sport, towing, and snow. Here you also have access to adjust the height of the vehicle. Normally we just leave that in automatic mode, so the QX80 will lower itself when loading passengers or at highway speeds. It'll raise itself when you're sort of driving at normal, everyday, slow roads. And you also have the ability to go in and do a personal drive mode selection, which is controlled up here on the screen. We can go into that. So if we go into the drive mode selector, we can adjust the acceleration between a couple of different settings, between sport, standard, and eco. That really just adjusts the throttle mapping. And then in here in steering, you can adjust the steering weight to be a little heavier in sport mode, and the same with the adaptive suspension. One thing that I really do like a lot about the QX80 is that because of the adaptive suspension setup, there was a really significant noticeable difference between sport mode and standard mode. Standard mode is very sort of soft and cushy, but when you're in sport mode, the ride does tighten up quite a bit. It's still a big vehicle. It's still going to have body roll, but you feel much more in control in sport mode. And I prefer to drive in sport mode as much as I could this week. Pretty punchy in sport mode, I have to say. I really like the steering too. It's got just the right amount of weight to it. You don't feel like completely disconnected from the road, even in standard mode. In sport mode, there's a lot of extra weight added to the steering wheel, so you do feel much more sort of a direct sensation when driving in this mode. So I've activated the ProPilot Assist feature on the QX80, and this allows completely hands-free driving on many US highways. It doesn't include a lot of secondary roads or anything like that yet, but it does automatically keep you centered in the lane, automatically maintains a safe distance and keeps you at the speed that you've clocked in at, and it works quite well. It just keeps an eye on you to make sure that your eyes are on the road. So it's not quite as smart as the system that you get with Super Cruise, for instance, in GM cars. You have to have your hands on the wheel when it does the lane change, and you have to use the turn signal, whereas on Super Cruise that automatically happens when it sees an opportunity. So it looks like we've now entered a section where the HD map is under maintenance. So we're not fully hands-free here, and I have to keep my hands on the wheel. Little diagram here shows that I need to do that. There are so many cameras in this vehicle, which is great because you're dealing with something that's quite long. You want to be able to maneuver it into tight spaces. And so if we go into the camera settings here, you'll see that there are a number of different modes. You've got surround view backup camera. You've got side wheel views as well. You've got front-facing camera. You've got invisible hood camera, so you can see your wheel placement. And then there's also a dash cam. So you can automatically record events. It has the ability to work just like other sort of off-the-shelf dash cams. So it can record both inside and outside the vehicle. And you'll notice that you can record events, but it can also automatically record crashes. So you'll have history before and after an event. And when you approach the QX80 at night, you're welcomed by these beautiful puddle lights on the ground. The illumination inside of the QX80 cabin is really cool at night. They've got this colorful ambient lighting along with this Infiniti branding and these sweeping waves on the top of the dashboard. And then you can see that there's this colorful rule that goes all the way across the dash onto the driver's side door as well. And then you also get that ambient lighting back here in the second row of the vehicle. And this is fully adjustable. So if we come over here, you can either pick an individual color directly off the screen. So if I go to yellow here, you're going to kind of get a shade of yellow. But you can also pick from some preset themes. So there's a winter theme, autumn, summer, spring. Let's go into autumn, even though it's July here. And we'll hit sunset red. And now we've got this like deep dark red. So wrapping up here, the 2025 Infiniti QX80 is a very good vehicle indeed. It's comfortable, it's incredibly spacious. Every seat's a good seat in this car, even the third row. You've got the latest in technology. It's great looking this year. Big upgrades inside and out. And I highly recommend it. New drivetrain's great. If I have any one thing that is a downside on this vehicle, it's the price. This is the tricked out autograph model, and it starts at $109,900. And once you pay for the handling fees, and this has the upgraded paint, we're a little over $112,000 for the one I'm sitting in right now. So you're gonna have to have deep pockets if you want one, but if you do, you'll be very happy indeed.